All right, are you watching Prime Video's Tribunal Justice? It takes majority rules to the extreme as three judges come together to decide on rulings as a unit. They just finished their second season. With us now, Brooklyn native, bigwig on the court system in our area, and of course one of the show's judges, Judge Patricia DeMango. Nice to have you back.
Oh, it's great to be here, Roseanne. I'm so happy to be invited.
You know, everybody thinks like, you know, you're this big TV judge, but you had a big position here in the New York court system. What'd you do?
I did. Well, I began as a criminal court judge, then I was elected to the Supreme Court, and then I was transferred over to the Bronx to clean up that mess, and then ultimately I became the administrative judge of the criminal division in the Supreme Court in Brooklyn.
Don't mess with you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit, some current events before we talk about tribunal justice. Harvey Weinstein.
Oh.
The deliberations are going on, and yet there was a problem with one of the jurors over the weekend. Did you hear about this?
I did hear about it, and I was interested in what was going on because, you know, once deliberations start, things unfold in a different way. And apparently this juror was making a complaint, not on his own behalf, but on behalf of another juror who he felt was being either made fun of, ridiculed and all, and he was calling it like a playground.
Right.
And he said it was very uncomfortable for him. Apparently he was a young man still living at home with his grandmother, so they felt maybe he was a little hypersensitive or didn't have
naive,
that kind of
but you mentioned to me the guy who was supposedly the target of this.
He never complained.
He never complained.
He or she never complained, and so this juror, so the judge did a voir dire of this juror. He wanted to be sure that it was not about the evidence in the trial, because that's really what's important.
So is this grounds to dismiss?
No, I think it was. I think that the judge handled it beautifully. He did a voir dire. He said that, but it's a good motion to make by the defense that this. You know, for a dismissal, for a mistrial, because you want to preserve your appellate rights. And so by moving for a mistrial, you certainly, you know, put that on the record. But the judge sent the juror back and said, please continue with your deliberations. He's not complaining, and this has nothing to do with the evidence. Get a tougher skin. Get over it, basically.
There you go. Very interesting. Can we talk a little bit about the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively? Right now, you know, it's a lot of allegations, lawsuit upon lawsuit, $400 million at stake. What are your impressions on that? I mean, it hasn't gone to trial yet, if it ever does.
If it ever gets there. I mean, the days of voluminous allegations back and forth. I mean, at one point I said, maybe I'll look at the complaint. And I mean, it was pages and pages, and I wasn't that interested to read every allegation. You know, and now she's, you know, it's come up with whether or not they're going to dismiss the intentional infliction of emotional distress or the negligent infliction, and she did not want to turn over her mental health records and her medical records.
Does she have to?
She is required to generally, because you really want something to substantiate. Anybody can get up and say, you know, I suffer headaches every day, I take medication. Well, you want to see proof of this. We actually had a situation in one of our cases.
On tribunal justice?
On tribunal justice, where a woman came in and she was contending that the defendant whom she was suing, who was, you know, a woman with quite a positive history of doing facials and all, caused her to get these blisters on the side of her face. And she had pictures of all these little blisters everywhere, and she was insistent that they came up like the 2 days or a day or so after she had the facial.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to give us her records. And we insisted that she did. We said, listen, if you're going to put your health into evidence as an issue, we want to see it. In an assault case, we want to see it. We want to see it. Sure enough, we get the documents.
And? Had nothing to do with it?
The doctor said, though she made that complaint, he was more certain that it was like
herpes.
Fever blisters or something.
Was it herpes or like
HSV1, whatever that is, the
gee.
fever blisters.
Oh,
so she, you know, that made a whole difference. I mean, the woman was adamant that this has never happened. And if you would have seen those blisters, I said, wow, I would never go to this person for a facial. Meanwhile, it had nothing to do with her, it
so
seems.
Funny. So I'll tell you, your bench for tribunal justice is fantastic. How does that work out? If you haven't seen it, explain it out there
So
in the show.
As you know, we're a 3-judge bench, We all question the litigants, both
Yeah.
the plaintiff and the defendant. We pepper them with questions. We get their answers. We each have a different take because of our life experiences and our backgrounds. And we then go and we deliberate on the evidence that we've elicited and the documents that have been given us. And, we argue heatedly
You're
sometimes.
tough. You are tough,
You
Judge
think?
Patricia Domingo. But she's from Brooklyn, from the old neighborhood.
That's right. We're like paisans. You have to. You're strong as well. I have to tell you that. You know,
Anyway.
to do this every day.
Anyway, I love the show Tribunal Justice, Season 2, streaming on Prime Video right now.
We're streaming season 2, and we've just finished taping season 3. So, we have right now out there, we have, I think, 210 shows. So
Fine.
get your phone, get your laptop, put your TV, and just Prime Video and find us.
You're the best. All right.
Thank you.
And check her out. She's on the streets of Bay Ridge. You'll see her.
You'll see
She's
me walking
shopping.
around.
86th Street. Judge Domingo, nice to see you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.